Hey everybody, Min Chocolate Chip here with another video from Disney Sorcerer's Arena. I'm very excited about the video today. So here's the thing, guys. I said I was going to come out with a farming guide that was for every character, but that's just not realistic. I'll talk about it at the end. But really, this is the focus. This is how you're going to focus. This is how you're going to get your team really good. You're going to have success all along the way. You're not going to waste any of your farming on characters that don't matter and don't help you in the long run. If you follow my guide, every single character you will have invested in will be viable when you get to 60 T7. So let's get started right quick here with the early game. I've broken this up into 4 sections. You have your early game, I split the mid game in half, and the end game. The early game I'm defining as you only have really the ability to focus on one team. So your team is Shan Yu, Jack Sparrow, Aladdin, and Jasmine. Now you're going to look at it and say, yo, Mint, that's only 4 characters. The team's 5. Now, here's the thing. Especially if you're free to play, the 5th character will come after you finish some of these characters, and you're just going to fill it in with kind of like, you can put in a low star Mickey, you can put a low star like event character that you unlock. Really, you just want to focus your farming on these 4. You don't want to spread yourself too thin in the early game, because getting your stars and your investment right away and getting your bang for your buck is the best way to set yourself up to getting the rewards. If you focus your team here with these 4, you're going to be able to do well in Sorcerer's Tournament, which will help you get Shan Yu. If you have these 4 really well invested, you're going to get the club dungeon. If your club is getting 10k tokens on an average day, then you're going to get Jack Sparrow relatively quickly. So focus. Get these 4 to 7 stars. Jasmine, you don't need it 7 stars. Once you kind of get into the later parts of the game, and once you quote unquote get to the early mid game is what I've called it, you don't necessarily need a 7-star Jasmine, but this is coming out before the Jasmine rework. Jasmine's getting a rework. She might be really good in the long run, so I put her here. I still think she's useful at the beginning. I think it's a really great investment in your future. You're not going to be regretted, especially if it's much better, which I'm pretty sure Jasmine will be moving up to an A-tier character after this rework. But now that you have one team, now you got 2 teams you're really focusing on. This second team you're going to focus on is Frozen. So now that you have a Kingdom team, after you beat Shan Yu, go after Mordu. Mordu's still good. Obviously going to slide into that 5th slot really easily. Can replace Jasmine if you're doing Mickey in the club exchange. Now, I'm assuming you're going to get those 10k rewards because you really care, you're really pushing your club, you guys are all working hard, so you're going to get close to 10k on the average day. So do both simultaneously. Do your Mickey and do your Kristoff. I think as much as is possible, do Kristoff and Anna all the time. If you have VIP and you got those extra gems, then you want to be doing your hero campaign. You want to max out your Kristoff and your Anna. I don't think you need to do the refresh. You can if you want to, but do 4 of each. That's 8 Kristoff, 8 Anna. I think you would probably be averaging 2 of those a day, every single day. If you're also doing the club exchange to get Kristoff, you're going to get yourself pretty set up for the future. And then once you finish Mordu, then you can go in and you can even speed up that Anna process so you can get Anna even faster. The Grand Campaign's a little more tricky. In the Grand Campaign, you probably want to focus Fen all the time, except when you know the Elsa event's coming up, and then you're like, okay, so now I want Olaf at 5 stars. I would still say focus everything you have on Sven and just wait for the next time it comes around, because Olaf's easily replaceable in the team anyway. In a 7-star Sven is very good, especially if you've invested in Anna and Kristoff as well. But if you know Elsa's coming up, go after Olaf, get him to 5 stars, unlock Elsa, and then go back and finish off Sven and then finish off Olaf. As much as possible, I have the guide going top down as far as priority. Now, you will have noticed the early game, I don't have anything in the tower exchange. It's because the tower exchange, there isn't really anything in the tower in the mid game that you would want to be investing in. But in the early mid game, you're getting close to or you've already finished your tower 3. So now you really just want to go full bore, unlock, hammer. Don't do anything else after that, because then you'll get into the late mid game. But just unlock the hammer. The hammer is still is right now the best spell in the game. I don't know if they'll nerf it in the future. I'll keep this updated as much as I can, but focus on the tower. I think that in the tower, hoard all of it, unlock hammer, and then move on. And as we're moving into the next part. The late mid game is owned by Zerg. So the tournament exchange goes to Hades. He's a long-term investment. He's the last one of the 4 that I would invest in because he just takes so much to gear up. But now you kind of have a lot of leeway. I would say the hero villain campaign, you should be focusing on Sally, because Sally will get you through Tower 5. But the club exchange is owned, and the club exchange is owned by Syndrome. But now your grand campaign, it's kind of a mess. Those are the 4 characters you want to work on, and they're available in the grand campaign. They're available in the regular heroes campaign, and for Big Bad Wolf and for Facilier, they're also available in the tournament. I would still say finish off Hades before you try to use the tournament currency on them. That's up to you, though. And I would say pick Demona and Pete to do some. So do Sally every single day, no matter what. Just focus on Sally. And then go for Demona and Pete in the hero campaign, and then focus on getting the grand campaign done with Big Bad Wolf and Facilier, because the grand campaign will be done faster, and Big Bad Wolf and Facilier are much more useful, and they're much more plug and play. You can use them in other teams, much more so than Demona and Pete. So Demona and Pete are going to be a little bit of a slower one until you finished off Big Bad Wolf and you finished off Facilier, and then you can go and you can do those in the grand campaign. That's kind of how I would do it. You can do it your own way. I think there's a little bit of leeway there. That's mostly up to you. That's why all 4 of them are in there. And I've made sure to list where they're available as of the coming up of this video. It's subject to change in the future, and I'll try to keep this, again, as updated as possible. Now, from here on out, the Tower Exchange, the best spells, other than the hammer, are going to be event spells. So it's going to be harder just overall to unlock them. So you just go for the spell packs, because you're going to be getting more bang for your buck. It's less, but you can get any random ones, and some of them will be good and some of them won't. But for Spell Tower 5, you can still get Zap, which is really good. You can still get Mortal Potion, which has its uses. You can still get Duke Kaboom, which is obviously good no matter what. Peter's Shadow has been more and more useful since the nerfs. You could still be getting Splash Mountain here and there. Snow Geese, if you already have Frozen, then Snow Geese is going to be beneficial too. And obviously you can be getting Golden Hammer too, just from those random chance packs. But at the point that you've really started to finish this off, now if you've noticed, I've done Kingdom, and then I've done Frozen to get Elsa, and then I've done the Downtown Villains to get Zerg. So the last one is fill out the rest of your roster. Of these, there aren't a lot of characters that you really have to focus farm. You can kind of just go after the characters you like from this point on. But I would highly recommend, at the point that you've gotten your Zerg team done, you've gotten your Frozen team done, and you have a full Kingdom team, now you can go after Judy in the tournament exchange. Judy's very good downtown hero, very plug and play, has a lot of uses, extremely well made character, probably even immune to nerfs, because she's not so good that she needs to be nerfed, unless they change speed massively. But I would say just focus farmer, finish her up, get her to 7 stars, and then Merlin is, of the rest of the tournament exchange, Merlin's probably the only one that I will be investing in. You could do Hornskin, you can go back and you can finish Ariel if you haven't finished her already. You can go through and you can, if you really want to, you can get Kronk. Mim is there. Jangles is there as well. It's a little bit more floaty what you want to do after Merlin, but I would say after Merlin, then you can kind of just go with whatever you like, because you'll have filled out your team to the best of your ability. If you haven't beaten 5 at this point, Merlin's going to be another mythical character you could be using. Now, the hero villain campaign, at this point, there's not really too much. Again, you don't really need to be focus farming too much for any of this, especially because the events, the way that they're structured, are that some of them have one character you need to go through. Lion King, you just need heroes, right? So it doesn't even matter whether or not you don't really focus farm for them. If you have 7-star heroes, and you can go through that. But Buzz is available for you to do here. Elastigirl is available. I didn't put it because at this point you really won't need Genie. Genie's also another one you could be farming here from the hero villain campaign. Really all you're just trying to do is 7-star these first character so you can unlock the last tier rewards in the events and go through. And again, I haven't beat Tower 5, so I'm sorry I don't have a spell pack for that. But because Blue Fairy Magic is mostly useless, it's not a complete and total useless spell. It'll still have its niche uses here and there. But because it's so much weaker than it was before, it's massively weaker, just go for spell packs. Like, there's no reason for you to be focus farming for Splash or focus farming for Blue Fairy Magic at this point. So with that, that's kind of the guide. I have it all kind of focused as far as the teams here. So you're starting with Kingdom. This is kind of, again, from the top down, the teams you're working on. Frozen then is going to be the next team you're going to focus farm for. Zerg is to be the third one, and then you got some other events. Again, Hades is good. Hades and Sally are really good for Tower 5 if you're stuck on it. Elastigirl and Buzz are needed for events. Mordu is very good in Tower 4 if you're struggling with it. If you don't have Simba, Mordu's very good and very helpful. And then Judy is very, very useful. Just plug and play downtown hero, so plays well with a lot of the other downtown heroes. I think there's a lot of useful teams you could be working on. And at the time that you're like looking at this, you will have had 3 teams, so you have really strong investments in there at 7 stars. You've been working on them as you've been going, and you're going to set yourself up good for conquests because these teams are going to be good on defense and they're going to be good on offense. You're going to get some plug and play characters as well from the events. For instance, Dash isn't on here because you can't really focus farm for him. You can pay for him, and you can focus farm Elastigirl, but you're not going to want to focus farm Elastigirl over Kingdom, Frozen, or Zerg. Because those are the ones you can actually really put your investments into, I highly recommend doing those and then kind of focusing there. But with that, guys, that's the guide. I'll tell you that according to the guide, I'm in the early mid game because I'm still working on Frozen. But I can tell you, like, doing Mickey and Kristoff together, I almost have Kristoff finished because of a lot of good rolls and also just really good focus farming. I try to get the max amount of Kristoff as I can. They had some double draws, which have been helpful. And obviously, like, Jasmine's one that I'm going to be investing in, and hopefully with the events are going to help. There are a lot of event characters here and obviously I haven't even started getting to the Zerg yet. I think with these tips, with this guide, you're going to be able to set yourself up well. You're going to have a good roster throughout. You're not going to feel like you've wasted your investments on a character that doesn't matter. You're going to have a really good idea about who you should be putting your gear and levels into too, because you focus farming for these characters. So I really hope this is helpful for everybody. This is really going to be your go-to, whether or not you're free to play or you're pay to play. No matter what, I think this is the way to go. I'm going to have another video later, which will talk about top teams. So like this is kind of what you're focus farming, but now you can actually see some of the teams you can be using other than these. Like this doesn't have to be the only team you're using. You can have some flexibility there. Kingdom has a lot of flexibility because it's a really good team. With Shan Yu as a leader, you can really mess with some of the characters that are in there. You don't even need to use Jack Sparrow in the long run. But with that, guys, I really hope this is helpful. I've put a lot of time into this. I'm going to be updating it every 2 to 3 months, especially as big new characters come out, like Elsa just came out, which is why I waited until now to make this for you guys. But with that, guys, as always, Discord me if you have any questions. Find this on Reddit. I've posted it. I'm also posting it in the main Discord. And if you want any of these actual infographics other than in Reddit, they're in Stigma. So come join us. Come join the server. You don't have to join the club or the clusters. In order to see it, you can come as a friend. We'd love to have you. But with that, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video.